What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Anthony, Long Island Fish Guy here, and on today's video we're doing one of my Around the Island updates. If it's your first time on my channel here, my Around the Island updates is when I go around to all my aquariums and kind of tell you what is going on. I am suffering a little bit from allergy season right now. I am taking some allergy medication, so I am doing a little bit better, but I'm definitely a little bit on the nasally side. I'm gonna do my best to struggle through this, but let's just go ahead and hop into it. If you guys do like this video, be sure to like the video. And if you're not subscribed to my channel already, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any other content like this. So as always, we're going over the 220 gallon first. We go from 220 to 75, to the 75, to the 125, to the 40. But new in this aquarium, what you'll see is the new piece of driftwood that we have. There's actually two pieces of driftwood. This bottom piece here is actually the one that we got that goes all the way up. That was actually the piece that we got from Tropical Showcase in my last video. If you guys have not seen my last video, be sure to check it out. We went to Tropical Showcase to pick up my Zebrina Pike from Pet Kiosk, and also purchased that piece of driftwood from Tropical Showcase. But it's a really nice piece. My black arowana, I was a little bit worried because the piece kind of came up a little bit high, as you guys can see already. I actually trimmed it a little bit. I took my saw outside and I actually cut probably about 2 inches off the top. I can't really see the piece of driftwood right now because of these peacock bass. You guys can see there, I actually cut it up a little bit, and it's actually good. He actually had a little cut on his head, but he's actually pretty fine now. Also in this aquarium, we do actually have a new centralized air pump that actually runs every single one of the aquariums down here in the fish room. I got super tired of having all of these like different air pump sounds and noises and everything like that. So now we have this one centralized pump. It's probably about as loud as one normal air pump. So it's much quieter down here in the fish room. Overall, all the fish are kind of doing pretty well. You know, the two peacock bass right there. We still have the Spyder kelberry that's growing out, which we're going to see in a little bit. The black arowana over there. Got the datinoid down here. Everyone's doing really well, eating like pigs. Two true parrot cichlids, the stingrays, and then the spotted gar. I do post a lot about this aquarium on Instagram, so if you guys do want to follow me on Instagram, hey, you know where to find me. But talking about my last video, the Zebrina Pike is in the quarantine tank still. Already had one shot, round of Levaminol. I always treat all my fish with Levaminol during my quarantine process. And so far, he's doing pretty great. You know, he's a wild caught fish. All Zebrina Pikes are wild caught. So he was very active right after treating him. So I think that he probably had, and rightfully so, probably most wild fish have it, some sort of probably internal parasites or something along those lines, which is why, you know, you want to quarantine. He's still eating like a beast. He'll either go directly into this 220, or we'll go into like a smaller aquarium just to grow out a little bit more. I'm not too worried about really any of the smaller fish, quote unquote smaller fish inside this aquarium. It's mainly just the two peacock bass. These guys' mouths are huge. Even the peacock bass, the Spyder kelberry, that could go in here, could probably fit inside of this fish's mouth. Sometimes I get a little bit worried about the gar even here, because the gar is, it's a big fish, don't get me wrong, it's like probably about a 15-inch fish here. But you know, these peacock bass, their mouths are definitely very large. Moving on to the 75-gallon Discus / archerfish aquarium. I did move my Tigrinus catfish out of this aquarium. It's in another aquarium, which we'll see in a little bit. We also did add in a couple of new fish. We have here red-tail hemidoas. These are probably one of my favorite schooling fish I've ever had. These guys are really awesome. I have 9 of them inside this aquarium. They're like my little cleanup crew, and they do really awesome. Specifically, I got these guys because of the archerfish in here. Having the archerfish, I wanted to make sure I didn't have any textures that they could really eat, which obviously these guys are relatively large and cannot be eaten by archerfish. Funny to say this though, because I'm actually going to be moving these archerfish out of this aquarium soon. Just because I think that they're kind of taking away from the discus, but I've also added new discus in here. I had 3 discus inside this aquarium. I had 1, 2, and 3. The one in the back there, which has been very shy, is new. That one there is new. And then this little That guy right there is new. So there's a total of 6 discus inside this aquarium now, but I do feel like the archerfish not necessarily take away from the overall ambiance of the aquarium, but also I feel like the discus are always kind of not necessarily skittish, but they're not really behaving like discus. And it's because these archerfish are pretty active. So I think we kind of need to calm down this aquarium a little bit. So some somewhat big changes happening to this aquarium somewhat soon. Talking about big changes, let's talk about George's tank. If you guys are new to my channel, this is my Oscar and his name is George. George's tank does not look great right now, and the reason why is because we're going to be doing some pretty big changes. When I first started my hobby, I used to use like the big chain pet store sand, and I hate it now. I like the much more natural look. The sand over there is much more like natural sand that you'd see at the beach. This sand is very white, and it kind of flushes out a lot of the fish. The fish don't really have like a natural color with these. I really like the difference of color that fish really have there. So I've been taking out, every week I do water changes. I've been actually taking out more and more sand out of this aquarium. I probably have about 1 water change left before I start adding in the new pool filter sand. Next time you guys see this tank, it'll probably have the new substrate in it, and definitely going to bring out the color a lot more inside the fish. Another fish you see in here is the Spyder kelberry. The Spyder kelberry he's been hopping around. The Spyder kelberry was initially on this 125, then it went to that 40. Now it's back into the 75 gallon, or first time in the 75 gallon, but this is its last tank before going into the 220. I've had it. This fish has moved around more than enough, and he's finally eating really, really, really well for the first time I've ever had it before. He's actually put on a lot of size, as you could tell. You know, he is like a little bit on the flush side, but you can see his great patterns and coloration on this fish. It'll only get better once the new sand goes in here. Also, once he goes into the 220s and to display a lot more color. Moving on to the 125. I could probably stand here and talk for 10 full minutes about this tank because there's so much to talk about. This is my Miscellaneous 125 gallon aquarium. It's overstocked almost on purpose. It's probably overstocked to a fault. I kind of want to maybe even thin this tank out a little bit. But I do love this aquarium because it's a lot of fun. I do have these Geophagus pellegrini. If you guys, again, follow me on Instagram. These guys have spawned a lot before. I actually do have a breeder net in here where I do actually have some fry. These guys are definitely going to keep spawning. I actually have a female right over here. She's holding either fry or eggs. I'm definitely going to need to come up with a long-term solution for when they do have fry, because I do want to actually get the fry and either give them to friends or fish clubs or local fish stores or something like that. They're really awesome fish. They're not really that aggressive. They're easy to breed, and definitely would kind of be a cool thing, or around Long Island here if this kind of became a much more common fish, because they're really awesome. We did add 2 more spotted hoplo catfish from my 40-gallon breeder inside this tank. The marble hoplo catfish inside this tank, I have like 5 albinos like this one. I have 5 normal ones. I think I have 5 brown hoplo catfish like these guys. So a lot of different catfish in here, tons of different plecos. Also, so many people are like, let's see that pike. This is the pike, ring-tailed pike. Great pike, community pike. But a lot going on, as you guys can see, inside this tank as well. I love the tank. Like I said, I love the stocking in this tank. But I kind of do want to make some changes here and there. Just not sure how I'm going to do it. But the 40-gallon breeder with the red wolffish tank, which the red wolffish does this for every single video. He plays dead in the corner. He's never like this. I literally came down here to take this video. When I first saw him, he was right up here. Literally right here, right up front. I said, perfect. Hopefully he stays there, because he doesn't really swim around that much. He stays in one spot. And of course, he's in the corner like this, doing nothing, looking not that good. But he does this all the time. It's like his little hiding spot. There's so many hiding spots for him in here, especially with the hoplo catfish out now. This is the Tigrinus catfish. Oh, look who moved. The red wolffish. I'm telling you guys, this guy, look at him. I mean, really take a look at this guy. Gorgeous fish. This is why they call them the rainbow wolffish. You can kind of see the rainbow patterns right there on him. He looks really awesome. And definitely in a tank now to really like feature him. I feel like in the past I've had him in like kind of too much, just too much movement going on, like the community setups. If you have him in like a big tank with maybe like smaller fish, not fish you could eat, but non-aggressive fish, he'll be fine. But If you can't put him in something like that, a tank like this, like a 40-gallon by himself basically, is like perfect. The Zebrina's catfish, compared to when I first got him, has put on a tremendous amount of size. Really just growing pretty rapidly as well. Again, this is a fish I'll be going into the 220, and that's basically it. The Zebrina, this fish, and then the Spyder kelberry. So guys, as always, there's always a lot going on down here in this fish room. I have some really awesome things planned for the future. I'm gonna probably start tackling it very soon, so you're gonna be seeing some videos about some of the cool plans I do have, not for this fish room, but for my office aquarium upstairs. I have a Flugel Flex 15-gallon upstairs in my office that's going to get a massive overhaul. So if you guys do want to see what I do with that, be sure to subscribe so you do not miss it. But that's going to be it for this video. So if you guys did like this video, be sure to subscribe. Check out some of the other content here on my channel. Ding that notification bell if you already subscribed. Most importantly, don't forget to fish on.